Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we delve into the Reddit challenge once again because the year is 2024. You only need 5 bourbons? Let's check them out. Run the video. All right then, folks, welcome back, family, friends, and allies, to another new and exciting episode of the Whiskey Cove. And on today's edition of the Whiskey Cove, we roll the time clock back. We've jumped in a time machine. We've gone back to the year 2020. We've jumped on Reddit. We see a post, and it says you only need 5 bourbons. Yes, we've done this video back in 2022, and then we did you only need 5 ryes that same year. And then since then, we've kind of had a little bit of fun with it over the course of, I think, 3 other videos. So we've done 5 total. But go check them out. So the other 3 videos were at Costco, the world's biggest liquor store. And I think they're at Kroger as well. And we had like a $300 budget. That was super exciting. But I don't want to do these videos anymore. But I think it's 2024. And the last time we did one down in the Whiskey Cove, or what I'm drinking right now, was 2022. So we might do this again in 2026. Don't expect to see any of the in-store versions of this challenge. This will be the last one for a while. With that being said, we need to see what we're drinking down here in the Whiskey Cove, and we need to remind ourselves exactly the 5 bourbons. So straight up is you need an everyday sipper, something you can pick up any day of the week and just enjoy it. Secondly, you need a cheap and inexpensive mixer, something that's maybe on the bottom shelf but really does stand up in a cocktail. Then third, you need a Friday night pour. You need something that when you come home from a long day of work, or long night of work depending on what you do, that you can get this bottle. It's not quite super special, but it's just something that just hits the mark on a Friday night, just helps you relax into the weekend. Fourth, we need something to impress our guests. Maybe they might not be whiskey drinkers, maybe they might be as well, but maybe this is something that can hit the masses and it's just a little bit special. And then lastly, again, moving on from impressing your guests, you need something special. This is the best whiskey you have in your collection, the best whiskey you own. If there's a time to use this, like a wedding, a funeral even, you know, if you have a friend that graduates or a childbirth, I've said that already, just any special occasion, that is the bottle for it. So then let's get into this video. So for bottle number 1, so last time we did this in 2022, the everyday whiskey or everyday bourbon that I chose was Ancient Age. It was cheap, readily findable here in Colorado if you travel up to Wyoming, and just was lower proof, hit all the right spots. I've gravitated away from that lately, and this is just a perfect everyday pour for me. That is Early Times bottled in bond. Yes, this is the Sazerac version, makes no difference for me personally, unless you're collecting them. But this is just strawberries, all the red berries you can think of, and it has a really nice bit of spice that runs through this whiskey as well. It's just very approachable. It is 50% ABV, so you know it's not quite getting up there, but right in the middle of the road, something that can take the edge of a long day of work. This is 50% ABV or 100 proof because it is bottled in bond, and there's not much more I can say about this bottle apart from it's just phenomenal value for money. It should cost you, if you're paying MSRP, around about $23 to $25, and you're getting a liter, so it's definitely great value. This is better than a lot of $50, $60 bourbon that I've had. The bottle opens up as you drink through and the flavors change a little bit. First of all, when you first open it, you get more like tobacco, new, fresh leather, a couple of maybe astringent notes there as well, but then as it opens up, those notes subside. The bouquet of berries and honey and toasted oak and maple syrup take over, and then you have a beautiful, well-balanced, cheap and inexpensive daily drinker that is Early Times bottled in bond. Next up, and what we used last time was, if memory serves me right, was a cheap and inexpensive mixer, was Evan Williams bottled in bond. And this year we went with Evan Williams bottled in bond again. This is just the greatest of all time when it comes to cheap and inexpensive mixers. I'm never gonna really deviate from this. If I want something really special to go in a cocktail, I'll kick up the proof a little bit. Maybe something like a Wild Turkey barrel proof the Wild Turkey rare breeds, just because it has a little bit more spice with that as well. So if you're drinking a cocktail, it adds another layer of complexity. But if you want a cocktail to have complete balance and only just taste the bourbon without any other notes in terms of you don't want too much spice or oak coming through, this is the perfect whiskey for that. It doesn't steal the show of the cocktail. It adds to the fantastic components that are already there. Much like the early times, this is bottled in bond, so 50% ABV, 100 proof. At 1.75, I think I paid $25 repeatedly. The price on these aren't moving up so much as the rest of the whiskey that is hiked up in by 25-50% lately. However, this guy, maybe it's gone up $1 or $2 since 2022, which is insane if you think about it, but excellent value for money. Evan Williams have done a great job. It's just a shame that I use it for mixing, because a standalone, if you just have it neat, it's a pretty solid pour as it is. So cheap and inexpensive mixer, never look anywhere else but Evan Williams bottled in bond. Third, and we need a Friday night pour. And I guess I need to premise this a little bit, because if you're connected in the whiskey circles, and I don't mean like in with any stores, I mean like you're paying attention to social media, you're listening for updates from different stores, you're making friends within the whiskey community, you can probably score yourself, I would say, 2 bottles of Weller Full Proof. Spoiler alert, because the Friday night pour is Weller Full Proof. Going back to the story, you could probably find 2 bottles of Weller Full Proof. The store picks, this isn't a store pick, but barrels drop quite frequently for what this is here in Colorado. Like the world's biggest liquor store, Daveco, dropped 2 barrels of this year. I think Argonauts in Wine and Liquor might also have dropped 2 barrels as well. So that's just 2 stores, and they've had 4 barrels this year. When I say this year, sorry, just last year in 2023, not in 2024. So this is somewhat findable for me here at the Whiskey Cove, and I can get it at that MSRP price of about $60 to $70. Excellent value for money, and that's why this is my Friday night pour. This is coming in at 57% ABV or 114 proof. I'm a big wheated bourbon fan as well, and this just hits all the notes on a Friday night. Come home from work, pick up the kids, get everything set here, time's getting on, come down to the Whiskey Cove, crack open the bottle of Weller Full Proof, and just enjoy the flavors that you get from this. We did a blind between Maker's Mark Cellar Aged, William Leroy Weller, and this stood up really well. I won't tell you how well it did, but it was not put to shame. It done excellently. And with this, you get something like a strawberry Pop-Tart note, and that fresh toasted oak. And just, I always get like a custardy, creme brulee, brown sugar, burnt brown sugar note. It is such a great whiskey. And if you're fortunate enough, and I know there's a lot of you folks out there that are just not fortunate enough to be able to find these. You might be in state-controlled liquor states, or just states that just are really hard to find with these. But I think just because Colorado has a lot of big box liquor stores, it kind of helps a little bit, because if they're dropping updates about saying that we're dropping a barrel tomorrow, you can make some preparations to go and try to get one at that time. I only ever pay MSRP for this. I think the most I paid was like $99 once. I have 2 other store picks of these. Yes, as a Friday night pour, I'm not going to drink it every Friday, but say like maybe 1-2 times a month, I have 1 or 2 pours, then a bottle's going to last me maybe close to a year. So that's why this is my Friday night pour, Weller Full Proof. So now we continue with the fun stuff. So something special to impress our guests. So I must admit, I don't know what this whiskey tastes like. I know and I hear very good things about it, but this bottle is lined up in the year of 2024 for me to impress my guests with it. And let's hope it stands the age of time, I guess. So that is going to be Michter's, and that is their Fort Nelson single barrel strength bourbon. So there's only one place that you can get this bottle from, and that is there down in the Fort Nelson distillery, because this is the barrel strength single barrel. So you can get the barrel strength bourbon, but you can't get the barrel strength single barrel. So how I got this is that I was down there in the distillery. I think it was like a Saturday or a Sunday. Someone said that it might be worth, like someone who was shopping there, and I had some food drinks, so back at our hotel, said that it might be worth waiting outside Michter's for an hour or 2 in the morning, because sometimes they do this. I did that. I waited about 2.5 hours, and the first 8 people in line could have access to be able to pour their own whiskey, kind of like out of a tube that probably comes from like a basement or something, but is a single barrel product. I think this costs about $150. I haven't cracked it yet, like I said, but I think all Michter's like barrel strength bourbon is phenomenal as it is. And why it's pretty cool and special is that we had to label it, and we labeled it the Whiskey Cove there. It was August 11th, 2023. 54.7% ABV, 109.4 proof. So this is something that's definitely going to impress the guests, whether you're a whiskey nerd or just whether you want to come down and check out the Cove. What an excellent story to impress the guests. This was hand-filled by yours truly. And thank you for Michter's as well for allowing people to do that. I think that's such a cool gift for folks coming down to Kentucky and just trying to get a cool bottle. And if you want one of those, you might have to talk to some people at Michter's or people who have gone there and try to plan your day and get there maybe an hour too early. They don't do it every day. They do it some days, so maybe you could ask or just annoy people at Michter's to see if they're doing it the day after. With that being said, we are moving on to the last bottle on this list, and that is something special. This is something, like I said in the beginning, that weddings, you're going to bring it out, a birth of a new child, or you just become an uncle, graduation, all that fun stuff. This is the bottle where you probably only get into it 5 or 6 times a year, unless you just want to drink it all. Hey, that's cool too. We did a live stream at the back end of 2023, and we got this bottle going as well because it was a special event, because it was the first live stream of the Whiskey Cove. And that was no other, and if you watch the live stream, you'll know what this is. William Laruelle of 2023. What a fantastic, fantastic bottle of whiskey. The review is just about to post, or has just posted on this bottle. I won't spoil it too much, but the fact that I just said what a fantastic bottle of whiskey, and we have it on this list, should tell you everything you need to know. And that blind that I talked about was the William Laruelle, the Weller Full Proof, and the Maker's Mark. That might have posted or is posting soon, I can't remember. It's been a busy January, but this is so good. It's so red cherry, dark, like dark maraschino cherry. It is literally like taking the lid off a Luxardo cherry jar and just nosing it. It's just so syrupy, so cherry forward. And it just has the wood to back it up there as well. And for the ABV, it's 66.8% or 133.6. It just noses like juice. It's so unbelievable. And that's just how it knows. The mouthfeel on this thing is just next level. Like I said in the other videos, this is probably the best mouthfeel I've ever had on a whiskey. I cannot remember a better one. Phenomenal bottle of whiskey, and just one that I've used for some special occasions, and we will continue to use it for some, hopefully this year. I'm sure we can find excuses to get into this bottle, and we will. So these were the 5 bourbons that we decided. An everyday sipper, a cheap and inexpensive cocktail mixer, a Friday night pour, something to impress your guests, and something just so special. There's a lot of fun bottles on this table. I'm very humble and fortunate that I've been able to get them, and also worked hard to get some of them as well, especially Evan Williams. Got to drive to the store and pick it up. With that being said, post your 5 bourbons. Like I said, I won't do this video probably for another 2 years, so enjoy it for what it is, and look out for some more content in the future based upon some of the feedback that I got from a question that I put out on the channel. What would you like to see more of? So as we say on this channel, as we drink through the world's whiskeys one glass at a time, these are the whiskeys I'm drinking through right now, apart from this guy, but very soon. Cheers.